Moving abroad can be a massive decision, but it can be immensely life-changing.
Today, we're sharing with you the 8 biggest changes we went through when we moved overseas. Plus, we're saving the biggest change till the end, so stick around.
Hey friends, we are Matteo and Micha, and we are the Global Expats.
Welcome back to our Expat series. Today we are talking all about how moving abroad changes you. And having lived on several different continents, both individually and together, and on a cruise ship, we made this list based off of our initial individual experiences when we first took that leap and moved abroad.
On that note, let's dive into the 8 biggest ways moving abroad changes you. Numero uno.
You no longer fear change. No, not that change. So, funny enough, change becomes your only constant when you move overseas. Nothing ever goes according to plan. It is more surprising when things actually do go according to plan.
And you kind of get used to being comfortable with the uncomfortable.
You very quickly learn that you do not have any control over the environment around you. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing because you do change in the way that you just learn to adapt, like very quickly.
That is something that benefits you your entire life.
You will learn to roll with the punches, I promise you. And a lot of the times it makes for some pretty funny stories.
And so in summary, change becomes your friend. Number 2.
You will discover how capable and resilient you really are. You don't realize how capable you truly are until you are 100% reliant on you in a foreign country.
You're forced to think for yourself. You become more self-reliant, self-dependent, self-thinking. You have to think on your feet.
And a lot of days can be an emotional roller coaster. The highs you feel are really high and the lows you feel are really low. And it's tough in the beginning, but you call home, you have a cry, and then they remind you that you're living the life of your dreams. And every time you have one of these days where you break down, it gets easier and easier to pick yourself up. So you learn how to weather the storm extremely well.
And tomorrow is not going to be the same as today. Tomorrow will be better. Number 3.
You will learn to appreciate the basic things in life again. When you move to a new country, you are starting from scratch. I mean, you feel like a kid again. It's like you're equally as amazed as you are terrified, and you have to relearn a lot of basic things. And it even comes down to the small things. Like if you go to the grocery store in some countries and you're grocery shopping in the middle of the afternoon at, let's say, 2 p.m. The store might be closed, and they're not going to tell, it's not going to say online anywhere, but they took, a midday break. And you show up and it's closed and you can't do your grocery shopping. And you're kind of like, okay, at first it's annoying or you're like, what's going on? But these are just things you get used to. Or the buses are almost never on time. Yeah. Actually, it's very exciting for me when the bus is on time. I'm like, oh!
These basic things become the priority in your life. You forget about all the little things that you used to stress about and you only focus on what is important. Number 4.
What about your friends and family? So one of the biggest changes when it comes to friends and family and your decision to move overseas is that they might love you. Well, they probably do love you. I hope they love you. But we've experienced this. They love you and they want to give you advice and they're worried about you and your decision. They just want what's best for you. And a big change is committing to yourself and knowing that it is your dream to do this. And taking what they say with a grain of salt and not letting it kind of place doubts in your mind or make you question the dreams you have and the kind of life you want to live.
Don't let it influence your gut feeling.
Yeah. And eventually they get on board. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to marinate with them and then they'll be happy for you.
Don't let negative things get into your head. You know who you are, you know what you want, and you know what your dreams are.
I know it's scary because we've both left our friends and family back home and ventured out onto our own.
Like 5 times.
more than once. You end up making friends from all over the world when you move. So don't think that you're not gonna meet new people and have amazing experiences.
And don't worry about losing your friends back home, because the ones that mean something to you you'll stay in contact with.
One of the most calming thoughts I think to myself when I get really sad or afraid, because it still happens, is that home is always going to be right where you left it. And when you go back and visit eventually, it's calming. You're kind of like, oh, yes, okay. This is all still the same. It's very familiar and comfortable. So think about that. You can always go back. It's still right where you left it. It'll help ease your mind.
Number 5.
Realizing the non-importance of stuff. So obviously the majority of people are attached to the material possessions, and it can be quite sad when you're packing and you realize that you don't have space or weight to take all of your things, and you have to start picking and choosing very carefully, and you might get sad at some of the stuff you have to leave behind. But I promise you, I've gone back home after a year, 2 years, and I look at the stuff I left and I'm like, I had this? I still have this? Why do I still have this? Why didn't I donate it or give it away or give it to a friend? Like, you realize how little you actually need in your life. And honestly, decluttering and only living with the basic things you actually need feels really good.
And weirdly enough, when you do return home, you use that stuff that you had forgotten about, but then are happy to leave it when you leave again.
But then when you do move abroad, you end up spending your money on experiences. Going to the neighboring country for a long weekend holiday, or, skiing somewhere, or doing something you've never done before. It's so much more satisfying to spend your cash on that.
Number 6.
You become more opportunistic. When you move by yourself overseas, you are forced to be more opportunistic, to make friends, to go to the event at the cafe down the street if they're doing a meet and greet, or
go to the disco pub.
Go to the disco pub,
by yourself, down an alley somewhere.
Okay, no, not that. You tend to break out of your shell. And maybe if you were back home and you and your friends did or didn't do certain things, and you move abroad and you discover that you actually do have certain interests that you never even considered, maybe taking a cooking class or a salsa dancing class and pursuing interests
because your friends told you it was lame.
Or maybe you just don't do it because everything back home is so habitual. But moving abroad opens up your world to exploring interests you never even thought of taking a class in or meeting friends in.
Plus nobody knows you. So you can do whatever you want and nobody's going to judge you because odds are they doing it as well. So, and you meet friends at your new tap dancing class.
Salsa.
Not that I took tap dancing. I don't think I have a rhythm for that.
I think it was ballet, actually.
Ballet. What classes did I? I took Italian class. I met lots of friends there.
You start becoming a yes man. I started
you pretty
saying
much
yes,
start saying yes to a lot more things that you would have said no to back home. And it's not just to do with friends and experiences. Some of the jobs I've had were just because I decided to print out my CV and walk around Florence.
Yeah.
And in that job, I met the next person that was going to hire me, and so I could move from one to another. But when you never take that first opportunity, when it's opened up to you, you're going to miss a whole lot more down the line. Number 7.
Overcoming the language barriers.
New languages force your brain to open up an entire new department solely for communication.
You will be surprised at how quickly you can pick up a new language when you are constantly surrounded by it. Everything from even ordering a simple plate of food or buying groceries or asking for water, asking for directions or how much something costs.
Plus you learn how to reply to the creepy Italian men when they're whistling at you. She's going to YouTube blocks us for that. Plus you feel like a boss going back home and what's the word? Impressing your friends with your newfound language. Ciao, buonasera, come ti chiami? Mi chiamo Matteo.
And no, venti is not just a cup size at Starbucks.
Number 8.
Work-life balance. In general, Americans are known for living to work. Their lives often revolve around their job, but when you move abroad, you come to find that in other countries, they just work to live. And there's much more of an emphasis on the work-life balance for spending time with family and enjoying your life and relaxing and taking vacations. So this was a great adjustment for me.
The biggest key word is everything's slow. Everything's slowed down, so you're less stressed. You eat slower, so you don't eat as much. You just take your day slower, so you're not rushed. You're not panicking all the time. You're more relaxed. For sticking around with us for this long, we are now going to share with you what we thought was the biggest change.
Living a more fulfilled life. The biggest change you're going to experience when you move abroad is the shift from living every day on autopilot to living each and every single day fully. Life is happening and you are living it. You are forced to actively participate in every day of your life, every minute of that day.
Every aspect of it.
Everything. And one of my favorite quotes ever is, "It is not the amount of years in your life, but the amount of life in your years."
Through this new life, you feel more deeply connected to your surroundings, the people around you, your environment, nature. Everything becomes just that much more special and that much more close to you. You will grow, you will be uncomfortable, and you will become addicted to these two things. And it's wonderful. These giant leaps are going to push you. They're going to bend you and they're going to try and break you. But you will come out better because of it.
Moving abroad brings the best changes and experiences and opportunities into your life.
These changes are going to make you more confident, more resourceful, more open-minded, and more willing to step out of the comfort zone, knowing that it's going to improve your life. If you have any questions or want to share the way that you've changed while living abroad, then leave us a comment below.
If you got value out of what we shared today, be sure to hit the subscribe button because our expat series has only just begun.
Catch you later, friends.